Hello. Welcome back to my MS Stories and Glories. Today's video will feature the top 4 craziest things a doctor said to me prior to my MS diagnosis. Many of you may have gone through just similar frustrations where doctors are misdiagnosing you or just saying really, I don't know, things about what this could actually be when you're describing your symptoms. If you haven't had to go through that, then good for you. But those of us that have, please actually feel free to leave me comments because I'm interested in seeing what someone else has told us as well. All right, and without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started on the top 4 craziest things that doctors said to me prior to my MS diagnosis. I think I said MS diagnosis. Number 4. That's right, weight loss. Touched on that in my previous video when I was telling about what led up to my diagnosis and what exactly happened. But just to kind of go a little bit into it a little bit more, yeah, that was BS. You owe me a little bit more. If I come in and I say, listen, it took me a while to get here, but my left side is buzzing. As I told you guys, I didn't know what a muscle spasm was. My left side is buzzing. My legs have gotten weak out of the blue and to a point where I can't stand. These things have happened multiple times. I think you owe me a little bit more than just lose weight, and those things will just dissipate for you. Yeah, that's gonna be a no bueno for me. Anyway, on to number 3. Yes, carpal tunnel. So, when I said I had all these different tests, that was one of them. I explained to you what's going on, not simply just in my hand, and I understand that carpal tunnel could run into your wrist maybe as well. And then, I'm not a physician and I don't understand the entire, human anatomy, so it could be nerves that are, tendons and things like that are running up. But the explanation, by then, when I was told this, I had a shade over my eye. I mean, and this was happening on a daily basis. If it's going all in my arm and it's moving up like towards my head and things, tell me why that would be carpal tunnel. But you know what? I took the test. I let them stick those needles in my hand, and guess what? It wasn't carpal tunnel, obviously. I kind of want to just go back to some of these doctors and say, you do better. Okay. Anyway, I'll stop whining. On to number 2. Yes, you read that correctly. Viagra for pain. This was due to the piece of it where I said, I don't know what this is. Again, we're going back to these muscle spasms. That was the most potent thing that was happening to me on a daily basis. But yeah. I said, yeah, and it goes, up into my head, and it's like a hard buzzing. It's not like, I'm being asked if it's painful. And I'm like, well, it doesn't really hurt, but it makes me extremely uncomfortable. I mean, yeah, I could have did a better job with the description, but I didn't. Unfortunately, I still don't know how you got this out of it, but yeah, it's in it makes me where I can't move. You say to me, I kid you not, guys. We can prescribe you Viagra. We prescribe Viagra for pain. It's not just that common use. Now, when you're saying this to a person that has been through the ringer, by this time, this was the 3rd neurologist, I remember clearly, about these doctors will not figure out what it is, what's wrong. And by the way, this is the same one he went in, look at the same MRI. I don't see anything wrong. And this was your resolution, Viagra. I have to say, I have to tell the truth. I literally, of course, turned down the Viagra. And that was the doctor's office that I literally cried in. When it was time for my copay payment, I said I wasn't going to pay it. By this time, I mean, this is a temper tantrum. Yeah, depending on how you look at it. But yeah, I'm like, no, I'm not going to pay it. He didn't tell me anything. the one thing I can say that went good in that was that in that appointment was that he gave me a referral to the final neurologist, with just like, I don't know, maybe he can take a look at it for you. I don't see anything. This was a neurologist himself. Anyway, that was that. Viagra. I had to say that one more time for people that didn't hear it. Viagra. Anyway, moving on to number one. Number one is going to blow your mind, because this, to me, could have made things so much easier or so much better had you just paid attention. The top one, the top numero uno of craziest things that a doctor said to me prior to my MS diagnosis. Number one, numero uno, as I said before. I didn't even want to spoil it and say exactly what he said in the previous slide, because it's just that mind-blowing. This is the neurologist that was doing multiple tests. This is also the one that tested me for carpal tunnel. Okay, so we do multiple tests. We did that. Remember I said I had tests in my arm, in my head. He did do multiple tests. I will give him that. When those tests came back and they were all negative, he didn't have an answer, and he told me to come back in 6 months. Okay, by this time, I'm desperate. This was not the third. This is like the second neurologist I'm saying. I'm like, well, what do you mean come back in 6 months? I'm dealing with this every single day. Right? He says, I kid you not, I don't know what's wrong with you. I've done all the tests, and they all came back negative. So I'm not sure. And you're too young to have, wait for it, MS. Yes, the man said to me, you are too young to have MS. At the time, I'm not familiar with MS. I've never heard of it. This is the first time it entered my braindom. Forgive me for my ignorance. But yes, he literally said to me, you're too young to have MS. Dude, you mean to tell me this far back I could have had an answer? You had the answer, dude. You had the answer. You could have made things at least sped along, or before I got even worse. Like, you were so stuck on the black and the white, and you caught up in numbers. So my age didn't fit the symptoms that I was having. You clearly threw it out there because it mimicked those symptoms, and you actually said to me, I don't know what's wrong with you, and you're too young to have MS, so come back in 6 months. I'll see you then. And though that will conclude the top 4 craziest things, number 1 being the most mind-blowing of things that I was told prior to my MS diagnosis. All right, so like I said before, I know I'm not the only one. I know it gets worse. I know there's crazier, funnier, just more mind-blowing things that have happened or been said to people that were climbing the ladder and trying to figure out what it was, and it was MS all along. So what I would like to do is just challenge you guys. Go ahead, leave me a comment, give me just some one-liners, or give me a couple lines of what you guys went through or what was said to you. I can laugh about it now. It's been a journey. I hope you can laugh about it at this point, and we can get to a strong place together. But yeah, it's always fun to share those type of things. Thanks again for watching, guys. Have a great rest of your day.